I know. You must be shocked that I'm releasing a new video that isn't gacha related, right? But here I am, back with a new entry in my series going over all of the new seasonal anime that I think are worth checking out. Summer has brought a nice mix of strong adaptations of various manga, as well as some original series that appeared out of nowhere and have continued to impress, so there's more than a few worth watching. So let's just jump right into Summer 2022's offerings. If you want to skip to a specific anime, check the description or comments for timestamps. Call of the Night was one of the summer shows I was most interested in, and thus far, it hasn't disappointed. The series follows Ko, an insomniac student who spends his time wandering the streets at night, and the story that follows after his chance encounter with the vampire Nazuna changes his formerly bland outlook on life and gives him a new purpose. Perhaps one of the strongest aspects of Call of the Night is the way the visuals and audio so effortlessly align to create the tone befitting of a city after dark. Right off the bat, we're treated to some amazing visuals of the nighttime cityscape filled with neon lights and starry skies. The sound design also enhances this experience, with quiet tracks and use of silence emphasizing the contrast between night and day. Along with this ambiance the series sets, I've also really enjoyed the character dynamics, not just between Ko and Nazuna, who are the highlights, but also with the supporting cast of humans and vampires alike who each add something different to flesh out the world and cast. And I'd be remiss to not mention the OP and ED, which are some of the best of the year so far. Call of the Night has been an entertaining series with excellent production values and a strong cast that I would confidently recommend to just about anyone who can appreciate a satisfying mix of comedy, romance, and a touch of mystery. On the other hand, we have Engage Kiss, which was a series that I didn't even plan on watching at first. Initially billed as a slapstick romantic comedy of three people in a slightly unusual relationship with a generic-looking key art, it didn't pique my interest. Until a few weeks into the season when I saw people talking about how the story had picked up and started to get interesting. I ended up giving it a shot, and, this doesn't really seem like a slapstick comedy, does it? Engage Kiss is very much a show that needs you to follow the 3-episode rule before it starts to pick up and get interesting, but once that happens, the story actually does have some intriguing beats, and the show itself has some impressive production from Studio A1. It's more of an action series with a story focus than a rom-com, though it does have some aspects of those genres mixed in too. The series being original is also a plus, as we don't know where it'll go, but I do have my reservations due to it being a multimedia project, much like Tactop Destiny from last year, which I think ended up dropping the ball in the end. While this is the weakest of the new shows I'm watching this season, I do like Ayumu, so between her and some interesting story beats, I think it might be worth checking out if you can get to episode 4 or so. Like Engage Kiss, Lycoris Recoil was another anime that wasn't what I expected it to be. I'd thought that it would be a pretty relaxing slice of life, so imagine my surprise when it turned out to be a mix of that with some fast-paced action and a darker story involving increasingly dangerous skirmishes between a terrorist cell and various secret organizations. And, like Engage Kiss, this is an original anime from A1 Pictures that features some excellent production between the slick action and character animation, strong voice acting, and character designs that seem to be a cross between KyoAni and Sword Art Online. Chisato and Takina are immensely likable protagonists, and I quickly got attached to them, their dynamic, and the story unraveling around them. The antagonists are also compelling, seemingly hiding some secrets of their own and their mysterious connections to the main cast. Through its first half, Lycoris Recoil has done just about everything right between its production, story, and characters, and it's continued to get better and better as it goes on. I can't wait to see where it goes as it approaches what will inevitably be an intense conclusion, and I think everyone should give this series a shot. Summertime Rendering is more of an honorable mention since it's technically a spring anime, but considering it's too core and still airing, I'm including it anyway. As you may have heard me say multiple times on this channel in the past, I am a huge fan of mystery and thriller shows, so Rendering was on my radar from the get-go, and all it's done since is continuously deliver. Main character Shinpei returns home after 2 years to attend the funeral of his childhood friend, but it quickly becomes apparent that things aren't what they seem. The deeper into the series I got, the more I felt the show's unsettling tone start to dig into me, and its interesting premise and shock factor only further enhanced that feeling. Even after just one episode, I found myself skimming through it again, looking for clues and starting to theorize. Add in a cast that seems to be full of secrets, some attractive visuals, an audio design that complemented the intrigue and intensity of various scenes, and you have a show that I'd easily categorize as a must-watch, especially if you're a fan of the genre like me. Uncle from Another World is an anime that I didn't even know existed until I happened to see a clip of a cute elf girl becoming a YouTuber, and that was all I needed to convince me to watch it. Which turned out to be a great choice because the series, also known as Isekai Oji-san, is a riot. It follows the aptly named Oji-san, a man who was transported to another world after an accident nearly 2 decades prior, and his life after awakening from his coma as he tells his nephew about all of his hilariously awful experiences in that fantasy world. Chief among them being mercilessly hunted down and persecuted for being mistaken as an orc variant because of his looks. Comedies are carried by the characters, their dynamics, and the voice acting, and Uncle from Another World nails all of these facets with ease. Not an episode goes by where it doesn't get me to laugh out loud as Takafumi's uncle retells his stories of the 17 years he spent in another world, and I want to hear more and more of them. Whether it be about the tsundere elf that kept following him around, his frequent misunderstandings, or one of the many times his valuable life lessons turn out to be nothing more than a video game reference. Uncle from Another World is a must-watch for anyone who enjoys an easygoing comedy, especially if you think you'd appreciate the various game and isekai tropes that get parodied. To finish off the summer season, we have a diabetes-inducing rom-com in When Will Ayumu Make His Move? It's written by Soichiro Yamamoto, the same author as Takagi-san, so if you're familiar with that, then you can expect similar vibes here. Ayumu is a stoic guy who has no problem saying whatever's on his mind, much to the chagrin of his senpai Irushi, who's easily flustered and caught off guard by his comments but doesn't want to show it. Their dynamic is fun and genuine, and the way they continue to get closer as they spend time together in shogi club and various other ways is a consistently cute, heartwarming experience. I will say that as a manga reader, it feels a bit fast-paced, but despite that, I think it's been an overall great adaptation of the manga, and the soft color palette and choice of voice actors both work in the show's favor. The OP also has the characters dancing, which is always one of my favorite things to see. All in all, it's an extremely cute, relaxing, and funny rom-com that any fan of the genre is sure to enjoy, and one I would absolutely recommend checking out for a weekly dose of serotonin. And that wraps up all of the new summer 2022 seasonals that I would recommend. I hope you were able to find something new that you found interesting and want to add to your watch list. But what do you think of the summer 2022 season so far? I'm interested in hearing about what you like and don't like, as well as if there's any series I missed that I should check out, so let me know in the comments below. If you're not already subscribed to me on YouTube or following me on Twitter at JDefenseAnime, then feel free to go ahead and do that now. And as always, thanks for checking out my video, and until next time.